Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel Biodiversity and Conservation. I am Subhalakshmi Rao from Ambika Prasad Research Foundation, India, and we are continuing our UGC examination series for environmental science subject. This is the 36th part of Unit 3 Environmental Biology, and today we are going to discuss about community stratification. In the previous um, PPT, we discussed about the general characters of community, and community stratification is one of the character of the community, and it is the division of a community into definite vertical or horizontal strata, and the layering of organisms or environmental conditions within a biotic community is called stratification according to Knight 1965. And stratification in a community may be of three types, that is vertical, horizontal and temporal. In case of vertical stratification, it is determined largely by the life forms of plants according to their size, branching, or leaves, which influences the ecosystem and is influenced by the vertical gradient of light. That means it simply says that the growth of plants mainly depends on sunlight, and due to competition, there is growth of plants according to their size and how they will branch out and all that thing. So light is the determining factor in this vertical stratification. The vertical structure of the plant community provides the physical structure in which many forms of animal life are adapted to live. Stratification helps in habitats and need separation. It reduces competition and thus enable a large number of species to occupy a community. Um, in We will study about both vertical stratification in plant communities and animal communities. So the first one, in plant communities, the different species of plants have evolved in a habitat having favorable environmental conditions wherein different species of plant community grow together having different life forms. The development of different species of plants in a given region takes place through the process of adaptation, competition, and natural selection. This results in the development of different strata between the soil on the ground surface and the uppermost tree canopy. The vertical layering pattern of plants is the result of competition among the various species of plant community to receive sunlight, as it is the primary source of energy for photosynthesis through which these plants manufacture their food. Different plant species growing in different vertical strata of plant communities of a given region have co-evolved with one another. If the topmost layer of the dominant species is removed through a natural or any anthropogenic processes, the structure of that particular plant community and the interrelationship between the plant species of different strata will be destroyed. So there are basically two examples of vertical stratification in plant communities. One is temperate deciduous forest and other is grassland community. Here in this picture you can see the vertical stratification in temperate deciduous forest. Here we have one dominant layer It represents the topmost layer of plant community, which is determined by the canopy of the largest trees. And this uppermost stratum is also called crown or canopy, which represents the highest limit of plant community in a given region. And a secondary layer, very often called as co-dominant layer, is formed just below the crown by those large trees which are relatively shorter than the largest trees. Then we have our second layer, that is shrub layer. It is the second layer and located below the dominant or crown layer and is represented by plants of shrubby life form. And next is the herb layer. It is the third layer and is formed by herbaceous plants. And the last one is the moss layer or ground layer. It is represented by mosses on the ground surface. So next is the grassland community. In grassland community, we will find three strata or three layers. There is subterranean layer floor, subterranean layer, floor, and herbaceous floor. Sorry, layer. And the subterranean stratum or strata contains the roots of principal vegetation and provides permanent residence to soil bacteria, fungi, protozoans, spiders, nematodes, earthworms, etc. And next is the floor substratum uh, of the grassland community, which contains the basal portion of the vegetation, including the rhizomes of grass plants. In this stratum, a characteristic group of animals such as insects, spiders, reptiles, rodents are present. And the last one is the herbaceous stratum of grassland community, which is formed by the upper parts of the grasses and herbs. A variety of insects, birds, and grazing mammals are um, included in this stratum. Next is the vertical stratification in animal communities. The vertical stratification of the forest plants is to a large extent paralleled by the animal communities. So these animal communities differ in the type of food they eat as well as in the layer of the forest they inhabit. Such a parallel stratification is no accident for plants. Not only they form mechanical structure of the forest as a whole, but also furnish the animals directly or indirectly via food. So there are like in African forest ecosystem, the birds generally occur in three layers. That is, the treetop community consists of hornbills, barbets, shrikes, starlings, and the middle stratum community, which ranges from shrub layer to lower edge of the upper canopy, consists of mixed foraging birds like bulbuls, drongos, flycatchers, other insectivorous birds. And the ground stratum is mainly composed of passerine birds, especially babblers, bulbuls, thrushes, flycatchers, feeding within a few feet of the ground. And the only upper air birds are the swifts. And the next type of stratification is horizontal stratification. Horizontal stratification or dispersion, mainly we can conclude that relates to the distribution of organisms in the horizontal space. It can influence the presence and absence of certain forms of animal life. There are three types of horizontal distribution patterns in organisms. First one is random distribution. Here, each organism appears to be placed without any regard to where another organism occurs. There is no negative or positive interaction between the individuals. Next is clumped distribution. In this case, several individuals are clustered together in various spots throughout the area. Like ants are grouped into colonies, fish into schools, and humans into cities rather than um, a unstable arrangement. Um, and the last one is the regular distribution. Here, each organism is spaced at certain intervals from others in the same species. This is due to negative effect of one organism to another. And the horizontal distribution of plants and also some animals is influenced by various factors such as reproduction, differences in environment, and species interrelations. The last one is temporal stratification. Besides space, there occurs a differentiation of communities with respect to time, which forms the temporal stratification. Environments of biotic communities are generally rhythmic. In the environment, light, temperature, and other environmental factors go through daily and yearly cycles. The like the plankton communities show differentiation in time. Different group of species occur at different times during the seasonal cycle. The plankton community fluctuates rapidly in many water bodies in periods of days and weeks. And In freshwater bodies at peak summer, blue-green algae may predominate or share dominance with green algae. And as the temperature cools, the dominance shifts back towards the green and yellow-green algae. There is also seasonal and diurnal periodicity that occurs in many forests. Animals show temporal changes in their activities, and through through this also we can distinguish between diurnal and nocturnal communities. Some species are active by day and others rest by day and are active at night. Um, there are diurnal and nocturnal communities of animals which replace one another. Some insect groups are active at night and some groups are active during the day hours. Um, One of the best example is the birds of prey, in which most of the falcons and their allies are diurnal, while most of the owls are nocturnal. Um, the change from day to night is gradual, and there are some species which are most active during twilight. These animals are called crepuscular. However, the activity of forest animals does exhibit a well-marked change throughout the 24 hours and distinct temporarily. Um, Active communities can be recognized. In general, one can conclude that there occur rhythms of function in biotic communities in adaptation to rhythms of the environment. So, this is all from me today. Thank you.